He didn't just cheat on me. He destroyed 22 years of marriage like it meant nothing. I thought the worst part was catching him with a younger woman. I was wrong. Because then he looked me in the eyes and told me to apologize to her. I said sorry, but not for the reason he thought. And what happened next, no one saw coming. He leaned back in his chair, calm, almost bored. Then he said it. Apologized to her. I thought I misheard him. I'm sorry, what? His eyes didn't move. Not even a flicker. To Chloe. You embarrassed her. My fingers tightened around the cup. A slight tremor. Barely visible, but I felt it. Right there, something inside me cracked. He cheated. He lied. And now, he wanted me to bow my head? I looked at her. Younger. Perfect makeup. Sitting there like she belonged. She didn't even look ashamed. How can a man be this cruel? The question echoed in my head, louder than anything he was saying. I could feel every heartbeat. Slow. Heavy. Burning through my chest. This wasn't just betrayal anymore. This was humiliation. And yet, I didn't scream. I didn't walk away. I stayed. Because in that exact moment, something shifted. I realized if I reacted now, I would lose everything. So I inhaled, slowly, looked him in the eyes, and whispered, "Fine. I'm sorry." Silence. But inside, I was watching, recording, remembering every word, every expression, every second. Because what he didn't know was that this moment would be the one he would regret the most. 3 weeks later, everything collapsed. Not slowly, not quietly. All at once, a termination letter slammed onto his desk. Effective immediately. His face drained. What is this? No answer. Just silence. Then another knock. 2 men at the door. Suits. Badges. Mr. Lawson, we need you to come with us. Confusion turned into panic. This has to be a mistake, it wasn't. Across the room, Chloe was crying. Mascara smeared. Hands shaking. This isn't what we planned, she whispered. Planned. Yes, they had a plan. But not this ending. Because what they never saw, what they never even imagined, was me. Watching. Waiting. Putting every piece together. Every email. Every transfer. Every lie. And when the moment was right, I didn't explode. I revealed. And just like that, he lost his job. His money. His reputation. His entire life gone. And the truth? I didn't just survive it. I made it happen. So let me ask you, what would you do if you were sitting where I was? Across from the woman who replaced you. Beside the man who betrayed you. Would you scream? Throw the drink in his face? Walk away and never look back? Or would you stay quiet? That's the part no one talks about. Because humiliation like that, it doesn't just hurt. It burns. Slow. Deep. And in that moment, you either break or you change. I remember staring at my own reflection later that night. Same face. Same eyes. But something felt different. Colder. Sharper. Who are you becoming? I whispered. No answer. Just silence and a decision forming. Because revenge, it doesn't start with anger. It starts with control. So if you think you know what I did next, you don't. Not even close. Because what I'm about to tell you, it's not just a story about betrayal. It's about the moment I became someone I didn't even recognize. My name is Margaret Lawson, 48 years old, and for most of my life, I believed in one thing. Family. Not the perfect kind you see online. Not staged smiles or filtered happiness. Real life. Real effort. Real loyalty. I built it slowly. Piece by piece. A home that smelled like coffee in the morning. Laughter echoing through the hallway. 2 kids who grew up knowing they were safe. And him. Daniel. 22 years, he used to say, smiling. Can you believe we made it this far? I did believe it. That was the problem. Because when you believe something deeply enough, you stop questioning it. Visual. A photo frame on the wall. Beach vacation. Sunlight. Arms around each other. We looked happy. No, we were happy. Or at least, I thought we were. I worked. I contributed. I stayed loyal. I didn't look for shortcuts. I didn't play games. I'm proud of us, I once told him. He nodded. Me too. Looking back now, I replay that moment more than I should. Was he already lying? Or did something change later? I don't know. And maybe that's the part that hurts the most. Because betrayal doesn't always come with warning signs. Sometimes it grows quietly, right in front of you. And you don't see it until it's too late. I remember standing in that living room, staring at that photo again. Same smiles. Same illusion. And one question kept circling in my head, soft at first, then louder, then impossible to ignore. Was I too naive? At first, it was small. So small I almost ignored it. A habit. A shift. A pause that didn't used to exist. Daniel started placing his phone face down. Always. On the table. On the couch. Even beside the bed. I noticed it one night. Why do you keep flipping it over? I asked lightly. He didn't even look up. Work stuff. Too many notifications. Too quick. Too casual. Too rehearsed. Then came the silence. Not the comfortable kind we used to share. Not the quiet of two people who understand each other. This was different. Colder. Dinner felt wrong. Same table. Same chairs. Same routine. But something had shifted. The light above us felt harsher somehow. Pale. Distant. And between us space. Not physical, but real. I tried to fill it. How was your day? Fine. That's it? Yeah. Short answers. No eye contact. He would eat, scroll, stand up. Gone before the conversation even began. And the strangest part? He stopped touching me. No casual hand on my shoulder. No passing glance. Nothing. One night, I reached for his hand. Just instinct. He pulled away, barely noticeable, but enough. Sorry, he said. I'm just tired. Tired. That word again. I watched him walk away, and for a second, just a second, something hit me. A sharp, quiet realization. I stood there, frozen, trying to understand what had just changed. Because it wasn't just his behavior. It was his eyes. Or rather, the way they avoided mine. The way they passed right through me, like I wasn't even there. And that's when the thought finally formed. Slow. Unwelcome. Impossible to ignore. He doesn't look at me anymore. Not the way he used to. It didn't happen all at once. No, it never does. The first real sign came on an ordinary night. Too ordinary. He was in the shower. His phone, left on the kitchen counter. Face down like always. But this time, it lit up. Just for a second. A soft vibration. I wasn't trying to look. I didn't plan to check. But my eyes moved anyway. One glance. That's all it took. A name I didn't recognize. A message, short, casual, I missed last night. My chest tightened. Not loud. Not dramatic. Just heavy. I told myself it could mean anything. Work. A joke. A misunderstanding. I wanted to believe that. I really did. So I stepped back. Pretended I hadn't seen it. But something had already shifted. Because once you see it, you can't unsee it. And then, there was the smell. Subtle at first. Not mine. Not anything I owned. A different perfume. Sweet, but sharp. Lingering on his jacket. On his collar. I noticed it when I hugged him. New cologne. I asked, forcing a smile. He paused. just for a fraction of a second. Then, no, must be from the office. The office. Again. Always the office. I nodded. But this time, I didn't believe him. Because now I had two things. A message. A scent. Small pieces. But enough to form a pattern. And patterns don't lie. That night, I lay awake, staring at the ceiling, replaying everything. Every word. Every excuse. And slowly, very slowly, a name began to settle in my mind. The same name from that screen. The one I tried to ignore. The one that didn't belong in my life until it suddenly did. Chloe. Her name was Chloe. I tried to ignore it. I really did. But once you notice something, it starts noticing you back. The next time it happened, I wasn't ready. He left his phone again. Same place. Same position. Face down. But this time, it didn't just light up, it stayed. The screen glowing longer than it should. Like it wanted to be seen. I stepped closer. Slowly. My heart, louder now. And then I saw it. Zoom in. I miss you. 3 words. Simple. Soft. Intimate. Not work. Not friendly. Personal. Too personal. My fingers hovered above the screen. I didn't touch it. But I didn't need to. Because right below, another message. Last night was perfect. Everything inside me went quiet. No thoughts. No reactions. Just stillness. Then the sound of water stopping. The shower. He was coming out. I stepped back immediately. Too fast. Too obvious. Breathe. Act normal. He walked in, drying his hair. Hey, you okay? He asked. I nodded. Yeah, just tired. Tired. Now it was my word. He picked up his phone. Checked it. A quick flicker in his eyes, gone in a second. But I saw it. Guilt. Or fear. Maybe both. Who's Chloe? I asked suddenly. Too direct. He froze. Just for a second, then smiled. Just someone from work. Too smooth. Too ready. Too practiced. I looked at him. Really looked. And in that moment, everything started to connect. The distance. The silence. The smell. And now this. I miss you. The words echoed again. Over and over. Louder each time. Until one question broke through, sharp. Unavoidable. How long have I been missing this? Not just the message. But everything. All of it. Right in front of me. I didn't confront him. Not yet. Because now, I needed proof. Real proof. The kind you can't explain away with a smile or a lie. So the next evening, when he said, I'll be working late again, I nodded. Of course. Calm. Normal. Prepared. I waited 10 minutes after he left. Then I grabbed my keys. My hands were steady this time. Too steady. Like something inside me had already decided this was real. I followed him. Not too close. Not too far. Headlights blending into traffic. My eyes locked on his car. Turn left. Then right. Not toward the office. No. Somewhere else. My chest tightened. This is it. He slowed down. Pulled into a parking lot. I stopped across the street. Watched. A hotel. Not expensive. Not cheap. Private. Discreet. Of course. He stepped out of the car. Checked his phone. Looked around. Like he had done this before. Then she appeared. From the entrance. Walking toward him. Slow motion. My breath caught. Because in that moment, everything stopped. She was young. Too young. Late 20s. Maybe less. Perfect hair. Confident walk. She didn't hesitate. Didn't look unsure. She went straight to him like she belonged there. Like he belonged to her. He smiled. That smile. The one I hadn't seen in months. Not for me. Not anymore. She touched his arm. He didn't pull away. He leaned in. Closer. Closer. I looked away. Too much. Too clear. No more doubt. No more excuses. Just truth. Sharp. Unavoidable. And suddenly, the name in my head had a face. Chloe. Younger than I ever imagined. I didn't sleep that night. Not even for a second. Because once you see the truth, you can't pretend anymore. So the next morning, I stopped waiting. Who is she? I asked. No build-up. No hesitation. Just the question. Daniel looked up from his coffee. Too calm. What are you talking about? There it was. The first lie. I stepped closer. The hotel. Last night. I saw you. A flicker in his eyes, gone instantly. Then he sighed. Annoyed. Not guilty. Margaret, you're imagining things. Imagining. That word hit harder than anything else. I saw her, I said, my voice shaking now. You were with her. He leaned back. Shook his head. This is exactly what I mean. What do you mean? You've been distant. Paranoid. Always assuming the worst. I froze. Wait, what? You think I'm cheating? He continued. That's actually insulting. Insulting. I felt the ground shift under me. You're twisting this, I whispered. No, he said firmly. I'm trying to fix this marriage, and you keep sabotaging it. Sabotaging. The words stacked up, one after another, until somehow I was the problem. I was the reason. I was the one breaking us. How long have you felt like this? He asked, softer now. Because this isn't normal, Margaret. Not normal. I looked at him, really looked. Same face. Same voice. But something was different. Cold. Controlled. Calculated. And suddenly, I understood. This wasn't panic. This was strategy. He wasn't denying it. He was rewriting it. Rewriting me. Turning doubt into guilt. Truth into confusion. And for a moment, just a moment, I almost believed him. Silence. Heavy. Suffocating. Then I stepped back. Okay, I said quietly. Too quietly. Because deep down I knew. Something was very wrong. But even then, even standing there, looking at the man I married, I still didn't know how far this would go. Or how much worse it could get. I had no idea the worst part hadn't even happened yet. 2 days later, he texted me. We need to talk. Short. Cold. No apology. No explanation. Just a meeting. I stared at the message for a long time. Then typed back where? Cafe on 5th. Public place. Of course. Safe for him. Controlled. I arrived early. Sat by the window. Hands folded. Back straight. Waiting. Every second felt stretched, longer than it should. Then he walked in. Alone. At first. He didn't smile. Didn't greet me the way he used to. Just sat down. We need to clear things up, he said. Clear things up. I almost laughed. But before I could respond, the door opened again. And everything slowed down. Slow motion. She walked in. Chloe. Same face. Same confidence. But here in daylight, she looked even younger. Too young. Her eyes scanned the room, then landed on us. No hesitation. She walked straight over. Click. 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 He didn't stop her. Didn't even look surprised. Like this was planned. Like I was the only one who didn't know. She pulled out the chair. Sat down. Right next to him. Close. Too close. Hi, Margaret, she said softly. Soft, but not kind. I didn't answer. Couldn't. Because in that moment, everything became clear. This wasn't a conversation. It was a setup. For a moment, no one spoke. Just the sound of cups clinking, distant conversations, normal life continuing, while mine stopped. I looked at Daniel. then at her, then back at him. "What is this?" I asked quietly. Too quietly. He didn't hesitate. Didn't even try to soften it. He leaned forward slightly and said, "Apologize to Chloe." Silence. Not just at the table, inside me. Everything froze. "I'm sorry, what?" My voice sounded unfamiliar. Like it didn't belong to me. "She deserves an apology," he continued, calm, controlled. "You caused a scene at the office. You made things uncomfortable." Uncomfortable. That word echoed, loud, distorted. I stared at him, waiting. For a joke. For a correction. For anything that would make this make sense. Nothing came. Chloe lowered her eyes slightly, pretending to be hurt. "I didn't want this," she said softly. Soft, fragile, rehearsed. And suddenly, I understood the full picture. This wasn't just betrayal. This was humiliation, designed. Carefully. Deliberately. My fingers curled under the table. Cold. Numb. "Are you serious?" I asked. Daniel's expression didn't change. "Margaret, just say it. Let's move on." Move on. As if this was something small. As if I was the problem. As if I was the one who needed to fix it. Inside my head, one thought kept repeating. Louder. Sharper. More impossible with every second. He cheated on me, then sat me down in front of her and asked me to apologize? No. Not apologize, submit. Bow down. Break. And for a second, just a second, I felt it. The weight of it. The urge to explode. To scream. To end it right there. But something held me back. Something colder. Quieter. More dangerous. Because deep down I knew. If I reacted now, I would lose. For a second. I said nothing. Just sat there, feeling it build. The heat. The anger. The humiliation pressing down on my chest. Say something. Stand up. Walk away. Every instinct screamed at me to fight back. But I didn't move. Because beneath all that noise, there was something else. Clearer. Colder. Think. If I explode now, he wins. If I break, he controls the story. So I inhaled. Slow. Controlled. Lifted my eyes and looked straight at her. Not at him. Her. Chloe held my gaze for a second, then looked away. Just for a moment. Enough. That was enough. I turned back to Daniel. His expression didn't change. Waiting. Expecting. Like this was already decided. And that's when I understood this wasn't about her. It was about power. Who would bend? Who would fall? Silence. Then I spoke. "I'm sorry." The words came out quiet. Even. Almost empty. But inside, everything was screaming. My nails dug into my palm under the table. Sharp. Grounding. Holding me together. Daniel nodded. Satisfied. Chloe exhaled softly. Relieved. They thought it was over. They thought I had accepted it. That I had lost. But what they didn't see, what they couldn't understand, was that nothing ended in that moment. Something began. Because when I said those words, I wasn't surrendering. I was remembering. Every detail. Every tone. Every look. And deep inside, something shifted. Permanent. Irreversible. That was the moment I changed. The moment I stopped being the woman they thought I was. Because that day, that humiliating, unbearable day, was the last time I was ever weak. I didn't cry. Not there. Not later. Not even when I got home and closed the door behind me. Silence. Heavy. But no tears. That surprised me. Because I thought I would break. I thought I would collapse the second I was alone, but I didn't. Instead, I stood still. Listening. To my own breathing. To the echo of that moment replaying again and again. Apologized to her. I'm sorry. Something was different now. The pain was still there, sharp, alive, but it wasn't controlling me anymore. It was focusing me. I walked into the living room. That same photo on the wall. Same smiles. Same illusion. I looked at it, longer this time. Not with sadness. With distance. Like I was studying a stranger's life. Okay, I whispered. Very calm. Too calm. Because in that moment, I stopped reacting. And I started observing. Everything. His routines. His timing. His patterns. When he left. When he checked his phone. When he smiled and when he didn't. I watched. Quietly. Carefully. No confrontation. No accusations. Just attention. Because now I understood something I didn't before. This wasn't just about emotion. There was a system behind it. A structure. Secrets don't survive on feelings. They survive on habits. And habits can be tracked. That night when he came home, I didn't ask where he'd been. I didn't look at his phone. I didn't even look angry. Dinner's on the table, I said. Normal. Almost too normal. He glanced at me. Confused. Just for a second. Then relaxed. That was all I needed. Because in that tiny shift, I saw it. His guard dropping. His certainty returning. He thought I had accepted it. He thought I was done. But I wasn't done. I was just beginning. Once I stopped reacting, I started seeing things I had missed before. Not big, obvious clues. Small ones. Patterns. Daniel stayed late more often now. But not always at the same time. Inconsistent. Careful. Too careful. That's what made me look deeper. One night, while he was in the shower again, I didn't check his messages. Not this time. I checked something else. His laptop. Open. Unlocked. Careless. Or confident. I sat down slowly. Hands steady. Heart quiet. Different now. No panic. Just focus. Emails. Spreadsheets. Numbers. At first, nothing stood out. Normal reports. Work documents. But then a folder. Hidden too well. Name something generic. Q for adjustments. Adjustments. I clicked it. Lines of transactions. Transfers. Amounts that didn't match. Didn't belong. Didn't make sense. My eyes moved faster now. Scanning. Connecting. Again. Again. Again, money. Leaving accounts. Not once. Not twice. Repeated. Calculated. This wasn't a mistake. It was a system. A plan. My chest tightened, but not from shock anymore. From clarity. He's stealing, I whispered. Not just cheating. Not just lying. Stealing. From his own company. From everything he built. Everything we built. Then another file. Smaller. Encrypted. But not well enough. I opened it. And that's when everything shifted again. Emails. Between him and her. Chloe. Not romantic this time. No, I miss you. No softness. Just numbers. Plans. Dates. Transfer it before audit. No one will notice. My fingers froze on the trackpad. Because suddenly, this wasn't just an affair. This was partnership. Strategy. Crime. And the worst part? She knew. Not just about me, about everything. Every dollar. Every move. Every risk. She wasn't just involved. She was part of it. Equal. I leaned back slowly. Breathing steady. Thinking faster. Because now the truth was bigger than I expected. Much bigger. And for the first time, I realized this wasn't just my story anymore. It was theirs. I should have stopped there. Closed the laptop. Walked away. Pretended I never saw any of it. But I didn't. Because something told me there was more. Always more. So I kept digging. Deeper this time. Faster. More precise. And then I found it. A document. Simple name. Timeline. My hand paused above the trackpad. Just for a second. Then I clicked. Dates. Flights. Transfers. Deadlines. Everything laid out clean, organized, intentional. My eyes moved line by line. Trying to understand, hoping I was wrong. I wasn't. Departure confirmed. Final transfer before exit. No trace after. Exit. The word hit differently. Not work. Not business. Escape. My breath slowed. Too slow. Because now it was clear. This wasn't just about stealing money. This was an ending. A disappearing act. And I wasn't part of it. I scrolled further. Then, her name again. Chloe. Meet after transfer. New account ready. New account. New life. Together. Without me. Without consequences. Without anything tying them back. My fingers tightened. Cold. Numb again, but sharper this time. Because suddenly everything aligned. The distance. The lies. The control. It wasn't random. It was preparation. For this. For leaving. For taking everything and disappearing. My voice came out before I could stop it. He's not just cheating. Silence. Then the truth settled in. Heavy. Final. He's planning to erase me. Not just from his life, from everything. From the money. From the future. From the story. And that's when it hit, harder than anything before. He didn't just betray me. He was about to steal my entire life. Long. Still. And in that silence, something changed again. Not pain. Not confusion. Something else. Clear. Focused. Dangerous. I closed the laptop slowly. Stood up. Looked around the room, the house I built. The life I trusted. And for the first time, I didn't feel lost. I felt certain. Because this time, I wasn't reacting. I was deciding. And one thought stayed with me, steady, unshakable. This time, I won't let them get away with it. I didn't waste time. Not anymore. Because now every second mattered. If they were planning to disappear, I had to move faster, smarter, cleaner. So I started collecting everything. Quietly. Systematically. No mistakes. No emotion. Just evidence. First, emails. Late at night, when he was asleep. I opened his laptop again. Same folder. Same files. But this time, I didn't just read. I copied. Forwarded everything to a hidden account. Every transaction. Every message. Every plan. Click. Send. Delete history. Repeat. Again. Again. Again, no trace. Then, bank access. Joint accounts. Old passwords he never thought to change. Careless. Or arrogant. I logged in. Watched the numbers move. Large amounts. Disappearing slowly. Too slowly to notice. Too precisely to be random. I took screenshots. Saved records. Dates. Times. Amounts. Everything documented. Everything real. But that wasn't enough. Because documents can be denied. Explained away. Twisted. I needed something stronger. Something they couldn't talk their way out of. So I changed my approach. Conversations. Voices. Truth, captured live. The next evening, I placed my phone on the table. Face down. Recording. Just like his used to be. Full circle. Long day? I asked casually. He sighed. Yeah, a lot going on. A lot. I let the silence sit. Then I heard the company's doing an audit soon. Small. But there. Where did you hear that? Too quick. Too sharp. I read something online, I shrugged. Another. Longer this time. Then, it's nothing to worry about. Nothing. I nodded slowly. But inside, Everything locked into place. Later that night, another recording. A call. He stepped outside. But he didn't go far enough. I stood by the door. Still. Listening. We just need a few more days, he whispered. After that, we're clear. Her voice faint. But there. Chloe. No mistakes this time, she said. No mistakes. I closed my eyes. Just for a second. Because that was it. Confirmation. Not suspicion. Not assumption. Proof. Clear. Undeniable. I stepped back quietly. No sound. No trace. But inside, the picture was complete. Emails. Money. Voices. A plan. And now, evidence strong enough to break everything. I looked at my phone. Files saved. Locked. Untouchable. And for the first time, I allowed myself a small thought. Cold. Certain. They have no idea how much I know. I didn't go to a friend. I didn't vent. I didn't break down. I went somewhere else. A law office. Quiet. Neutral. Professional. Because this wasn't emotional anymore, it was strategic. The receptionist looked up. Do you have an appointment? No, I said calmly. But I have evidence. That changed everything. 20 minutes later, I was sitting across from him. Mr. Carter. Mid-50s. Sharp eyes. No wasted words. Tell me everything, he said. So I did. Not dramatically. Not like a victim. Fact by fact. Emails. Transactions. Recordings. I placed my phone on the desk. Opened the files. Let the silence fill the room as he watched, listened, read. No interruptions. Just focus. Minutes passed. Then he leaned back. Slowly. Steepled his fingers. And looked straight at me. Margaret. You understand what you have here, right? I didn't answer. Not yet. Because I wanted to hear it from him. Not from my fear. Not from my anger. From someone who deals in truth. This isn't just infidelity, he continued. No. I knew that. This is financial fraud. Embezzlement. Conspiracy. Each word landed heavier than the last. Real. Legal. Unavoidable. And the recordings, he added, nodding toward my phone. Admissible. I asked quietly. He gave a small smile. In this context, very useful. Very useful. I let that sink in. Because for the first time, this wasn't about what I felt. It was about what I could prove. What happens next? I asked. He leaned forward slightly. You have leverage. Leverage. A simple word, but it changed everything. They think they're in control, he said. They think you don't know. I nodded. They're wrong. Silence stretched between us. But it wasn't heavy anymore. It was clear. Sharp. Directed. Because right there, in that room, something shifted again. Not like before. Not pain. Not anger. Something stronger. Identity. Understanding. I'm not here to just divorce him, I said slowly. Mr. Carter didn't react. He just listened. I want to stop them, I added. Another. Then a slight nod. We can do that. Simple. Certain. Final. I exhaled. Long controlled. And in that moment, I realized something I hadn't allowed myself to think before. Not fully. Not clearly. Until now. I wasn't powerless. I wasn't confused. I wasn't broken. No. That version of me was already gone. Because sitting there across that desk, with proof in my hands, and a plan beginning to form, I understood the truth. Clear. Cold. Unshakable. I'm not the victim anymore. I didn't act immediately. That was the difference now. Before, I reacted. Now I waited. Because timing was everything. If I moved too early, they would disappear. If I pushed too hard, they would hide the evidence. So I did the opposite. I became predictable, calm, quiet, almost invisible. Everything okay? Daniel asked one night. I smiled. Yeah, I think I overreacted before. Overreacted. The word he used against me, now I gave it back. He nodded. Relieved. Of course he was. Because now, he felt safe again. And when people feel safe, they make mistakes. I watched him relax. Day by day. His phone, less guarded. His tone, lighter. Even Chloe, careless. I saw her name appear again. Not hidden anymore. Not urgent. Just normal. That was exactly what I needed. More proof. More confidence. More time. Because I wasn't just building a case, I was building a moment. A perfect one. Where everything would collide. Where there would be no denial. No escape. No rewriting the truth. I spoke to Mr. Carter again. We don't rush this, he said. I'm not, I replied. I wasn't rushing. I was setting a trap. Carefully. Piece by piece. Then one detail changed everything. An email. Subject line, annual company event. I opened it slowly. Read every word. Date. Time. Location. A corporate party. Executives. Staff. Investors. Everyone, in one place. Public. Visible. Documented. My eyes lingered on the screen. Longer than necessary. Because in that moment, something clicked. Not loudly. Not dramatically. But clearly. This was it. The place. The timing. The exposure. Because what is truth, if no one sees it? I leaned back in my chair. Exhaled slowly. And for the first time, I allowed myself to imagine it. Him, standing there. Confident. Untouchable. Until everything breaks. In front of everyone. I closed the email. Very gently. Because now I knew exactly what I needed. Not just evidence. Not just a plan. A stage. A moment that couldn't be undone. Because this wasn't just about stopping them anymore. It was about exposing them. Completely. Irreversibly. And as that thought settled in sharp final, I whispered to myself, I need a stage, somewhere he can't run. The night arrived, quietly. Too quietly. Like nothing was about to happen. The company event was everything you'd expect, bright lights. Soft music. Glasses clinking in steady rhythm. People laughing. Networking. Normal. Perfectly normal. And that's what made it so dangerous. Because no one there knew the truth. Not yet. I stood outside for a moment before going in. Watching through the glass. Scanning faces. Then I saw him. Daniel. Right in the center of it all. Confident. Relaxed. Smiling. That same smile. The one he used to give me. Now given to everyone else. He shook hands. Laughed easily. Moved like he owned the room. Like nothing could touch him. Like he had already won. And that's when it hit me, the difference between what they saw and what I knew. To them, he was successful. Respected. In control. To me, he was exposed. Already falling. He just didn't know it yet. That's the strange thing about truth. When it's hidden, it gives people confidence. False confidence. And Daniel was full of it. I stepped inside. Slowly. Quietly. No one noticed at first. Good. That was the plan. Blend in. Observe. Wait. I watched him from across the room. Every movement. Every gesture. Unaware. Completely unguarded. Then I saw her. Chloe. Standing near the bar. Dressed to be seen. And she was. She caught his eye. Just for a second, but it was enough. A look. Quick. Controlled. But intimate. Too intimate. No one else noticed. But I did. Of course I did. Because now I was watching everything. The room felt louder suddenly. Or maybe I was just more aware. Because underneath the laughter, underneath the music, there was tension. Invisible. Building. Waiting. Like pressure before a storm. And in the middle of it all, Daniel raised his glass. To another successful year, he said proudly. People clapped. Smiled. Celebrated him. Irony. Sharp. Almost cruel. Because while they were cheering, his world was already breaking. Right beneath his feet. He just couldn't feel it yet. Not yet. I took a step forward. Then another. Closer now. Into the light. Into the moment. Because the storm was about to begin. And then I stepped into the light. Not rushed. Not hesitant. Deliberate. Slow. Every step measured. The room didn't notice at first. Why would they? To them, I was just another guest. But then, someone turned. Then another. Whispers. Soft. Curious. Because I didn't look the same. Not the woman they expected. Not the quiet wife standing in the background. No, I was different. Elegant. Composed. Unreachable. The dress, sharp, refined. The way I held myself steady. Unshaken. Camera slow. Eyes following me as I moved. Across the room. Toward him. Toward the center. Toward the truth. I could feel it, their attention shifting. Building. But I didn't look at them. Not yet. My eyes were locked on one person. Daniel. He saw me. Finally. And for the first time that night, his expression changed. Just a flicker. Surprise. Confusion. Then control again. Margaret, he said, stepping forward. Careful. Measured. Like he was already calculating the situation. What are you doing here? I didn't answer immediately. I let the silence sit. Stretch. Grow uncomfortable. Because silence can be louder than anything. I was invited, I said simply. True. But not the full truth. Never the full truth. He studied me. Longer now. Trying to read something. Anything. But there was nothing to read. Because I wasn't reacting. I was revealing. Across the room, I saw Chloe watching. Still. Alert now. Something in her eyes had shifted too. Recognition. Not fear yet, but close. Very close. And that's when the thought crossed my mind. Sharp. Clear. Unstoppable. He really thinks I stayed silent because I'm weak? A small smile touched my lips. Barely there. Controlled. Because this wasn't anger anymore. This was something else. Precision. Timing. Power. I thought you'd be at home, Daniel said, lowering his voice. I replied. Then I took one step closer. Close enough for only him to hear. But I'm done staying there. Silence. Heavy. Different now. Because something had shifted again. Not just in me, in the room. In the air. In him. And as I looked into his eyes, steady, unblinking, I realized something this moment was already out of his control. And then I moved. Not away. Forward. Past him. Straight toward the stage. At first, no one stopped me. Why would they? I looked like I belonged there. Confident. Composed. Untouchable. But Daniel noticed. Margaret, what are you doing? His voice low. Tight. I didn't answer. Didn't even slow down. Because now every step mattered. Every second was leading here. The stage lights were brighter up close. Warmer. Almost blinding. A microphone rested on the stand. Still. Waiting. Like it knew. I reached out, paused, just for a breath. A small delay. Because this was the point of no return. Behind me, the room had shifted. People were turning now. Whispers spreading. What's going on? Who is she? More eyes. More attention. Building. Daniel stepped closer. "Margaret, stop," he said, sharper this time. There it was. The crack. The first sign of panic. Good. I turned slightly. Just enough to look at him. Not fully. Not yet. "You wanted me to speak, didn't you?" I said calmly. Confusion flashed across his face. What? But he already knew. Some part of him did. Chloe was watching now too. Frozen. No movement. No control. Just waiting. Exactly where I needed them. Exactly how I planned it. I lifted the microphone. The sound cut through the room, sharp. Immediate. Silence followed. Heavy. Complete. Every conversation stopped. Every movement paused. All eyes on me. This was it. The stage. The moment. The truth, seconds away from being heard. I let the silence stretch. Longer than comfortable. Because anticipation is power. My fingers tightened slightly around the mic, steady. Unshaking. No fear. Not anymore. I scanned the room slowly. Faces. Curious. Confused. Unaware. Then I looked at him. Directly. Fully. No distance left. No mask. Just truth. And in that exact moment, I knew. There was no stopping this now. No undoing it. No escape. For him. For her. For any of them. I took a breath. Slow. Controlled. And whispered soft enough for only myself to hear. It's time. I didn't rush it. I let the silence hold, just a second longer. Then I won't take much of your time, I said calmly. My voice, steady. Clear. Too clear. People leaned in. Curiosity first. Then unease. I'm Margaret Lawson, I continued. Daniel's wife. A ripple. Soft, but spreading. I saw it, faces turning, expressions shifting. Daniel froze. Just for a second, then stepped forward. Margaret, this isn't. I raised my hand. Not loud. Not aggressive. But final. Let me finish. He stopped. Because now he had no choice. I turned slightly toward the screen behind me. Already connected. Prepared. One click. The first email appeared. Large. Clear. Unavoidable. Final transfer before audit. Gasps. Small at first. Then louder. Another click. More emails. More numbers. More truth. This isn't a misunderstanding, I said quietly. Or a rumor. Click. A spreadsheet. Transactions. Thousands. Millions. Vanishing. Right in front of them. Shock. Spreading now. From table to table. Whispers turning into voices. What is that? Is this real? I didn't answer them. I didn't need to. Because the evidence was answering for me. Daniel stepped closer. Turn that off, he said through his teeth. Low. Controlled. But breaking. I looked at him. Calm. Almost curious. Why? I asked. Silence. He had nothing. No explanation. No control. Click. Another file. This time audio. His voice filled the room. Just a few more days, then we're clear. Frozen. Every single person listening. Watching. Understanding. And then her voice. Chloe. No mistakes this time. A collective intake of breath. Louder than anything before. Because now it wasn't just data. It was real. Alive. Undeniable. I stepped back slightly. Let it play. Let it sink in. Let the truth do what it does best, spread. Daniel's face, pale now. Tight. Breaking. Chloe completely still. Eyes wide. No mask left. No performance. Just fear. Pure. Unfiltered. And in that moment, I didn't need to say anything else. Because the room had already changed. The energy. The power. The narrative. All of it flipped. Just like that. At first, he said nothing. Just stood there frozen. Like his mind hadn't caught up yet. Then, no, this isn't what it looks like. Too fast. Too loud. Too late. He stepped forward, grabbing the edge of the stage. Turn it off. Not controlled anymore. Not calm. Sharp. Cracking. I didn't move. Didn't even blink. Because this was the moment I had been waiting for. Daniel, someone called from the crowd. What is this? Another voice, is that your account? Questions. Everywhere. Relentless. Closing in. And for the first time, he didn't have answers. I can explain, he said quickly. This is being taken out of context. That word again. I almost smiled. Because now there was no context left to hide behind. Only truth. Raw. Exposed. He turned to me. Eyes wide now. Not confident. Not controlled. Desperate. Margaret, stop this, he whispered. Whispered. Like we were still alone. Like this could still be fixed. I stepped closer. Slow. Measured. You told me to apologize, I said quietly. He flinched. Just a little, but I saw it. Remember? The room felt tighter now. Closer. Like the walls were leaning in. I'm fixing things, he said, louder now. I'm protecting us. Us. The words shattered in the air. There is no us, Daniel. Simple. Final. He shook his head. No, you don't understand. I understand everything, I cut in. Not loud, but sharp. Clean. Unavoidable. And that's when it happened, the shift. The break. His composure, gone. Completely. His voice rose. You went through my things? Anger now. Wild. Uncontrolled. You're the one who betrayed me, I said. Steady. Unshaken. You stole. You lied. You planned to run. Each word a strike. Precise. Irreversible. He stepped back. Then forward again. Pacing. Hands in his hair. I didn't mean for it to happen like this, but it had. Exactly like this. In front of everyone. Where he couldn't hide. Where he couldn't rewrite the story. The crowd was no longer silent. Phones out. Recording. Watching. Witnessing. And suddenly, he saw it too. The truth. Not just exposed, captured. Permanent. No, he whispered again. But this time, it wasn't denial. It was realization. Collapse. Because everything he built, his image, his control, his power was gone. Right there. In seconds. And I felt it. Not anger anymore. Not pain. Something else. Release. Deep. Complete. Like a weight finally breaking free. Because for so long he held the narrative. He shaped the truth. He controlled the story. But not anymore. Now everyone could see him. Exactly as he was. And there was nothing he could do to stop it. And then, all eyes shifted. Not to him, to her. Chloe. She had been standing still this whole time. Too still. Like if she didn't move, none of this would touch her. But it did. Now, it was her turn. I don't know what this is, she said suddenly. Her voice, different. Not soft. Not controlled. Shaking. I think there's been a misunderstanding. The same word. Again. But this time, it sounded weak. Empty. Because the room had changed. No one was listening the way they used to. No sympathy. No belief. Just scrutiny. Sharp. Unforgiving. She stepped forward. Too quickly. Reaching for something control. I didn't do anything wrong, she added. I was just following instructions. Then she stopped. Too late. Her own words, betraying her. A ripple moved through the crowd. Not shock this time. Understanding. Connected pieces. Clear picture. I watched her carefully. The The way her hands trembled. The way her eyes searched the room, looking for someone to save her. No one moved. Not anymore. Because this wasn't hidden. This wasn't private. This was real. Public. Permanent. "Chloe," I said quietly. She turned to me. Fast. Too fast. Hope, just for a second. Maybe she thought I would soften. Explain. Help her out. But I didn't. I held her gaze. Steady. Unblinking. "You knew," I said. Simple. Direct. Her lips parted. No, but the word didn't land. Didn't carry weight. Because the evidence was still behind me. Still glowing. Still undeniable. I didn't understand everything, she tried again. I didn't know it would go this far, tears now. Real. Messy. Running down carefully prepared makeup. But even that felt too late. Too convenient. The room stayed silent. Watching. Judging. And that's when I stepped closer. Not aggressive. Not loud. Just enough. Close enough for her to hear me, and for everyone else to feel it. "I'm sorry," I said softly. A delay. Her eyes lifted. Hope again. Faint. Fragile. But no one believes you anymore. Silence. Complete. Final. Her expression broke. Not slowly. All at once. Like something inside her collapsed. Because that was the truth she couldn't escape. Not the evidence. Not the accusations. But this, the loss of belief. The loss of image. The loss of control. And in that moment, she understood. Just like he did. It was over. It didn't happen all at once. Not in a single moment. But it started that night and it never stopped. At first, it was silence. The kind that follows something irreversible. No more applause. No more laughter. Just distance. Cold. Immediate. People stepped away from him. Not dramatically. Not loudly. Just one step back. Then another. Like instinct. Like survival. The next morning, the emails began. Internal. Urgent. Effective immediately. Suspension. Investigation. Access revoked. Click. Gone. Just like that. The office he once walked into with confidence, locked. Security at the door. Eyes watching. No more handshakes. No more respect. Only whispers. That's him. I saw the video. Video. Of course. Because nothing stays contained anymore. Phones had recorded everything. Every word. Every reaction. Every collapse. And now it was everywhere. Shared. Replayed. Analyzed. His voice. His face. Frozen in that moment of panic. Permanent. I heard about it days later. Not from him. Never from him. From others. He's been let go. They're pressing charges. Charges. Real consequences. Legal. Unavoidable. Because what he thought was hidden was now documented. Verified. Impossible to deny. I saw him once after that. By accident. Outside a building that used to be his. He looked smaller. Not physically. But everything else. His posture. His presence. Gone. He saw me. Paused. Like he wanted to say something. Explain. Apologize. Rewrite. But he didn't. Because there was nothing left to say. No version of the story that could save him. No words that could undo what everyone already knew. So he just stood there. Silent. And I kept walking. Because that chapter was already over. Chloe didn't disappear overnight. Not at first. She tried to hold on. To salvage something. Anything. I didn't know everything I heard she told someone. I was just involved. Involved. A softer word. A safer word. But it didn't work. Because the evidence didn't leave space for soft. It was clear. Precise. Unforgiving. Her name, Everywhere in those files. Every transfer. Every message. Every plan. Not a bystander. A participant. And once that truth surfaced, doors started closing. Quietly. But completely. The company issued a statement. Any individuals involved, careful wording. Legal. But final. She was removed. No explanation offered. None needed. Because everyone already knew. I saw a photo of her online a few days later. Different. Not the confident woman in the cafe. Not the one who walked into that hotel like she belonged there. No. This version looked lost. Eyes avoiding the camera. Shoulders slightly lowered. Like something had been taken. Or maybe revealed. Then came the legal side. Formal notices. Investigations expanding. Her name included. Attached. Documented. There was no separating herself now. No stepping back. No clean exit. Because she hadn't just been standing next to him, she had stepped into the plan. Willingly. And plans have consequences. I was told she tried to deny it again. One last time. I didn't think it would go that far, but that sentence had no weight left. Not after everything. Not after the recordings. Not after the truth had already spread. Because belief, once lost, doesn't come back. Not easily. Sometimes, not at all. And that was the real cost. Not just the case. Not just the future she thought she had. But her image. Her credibility. Gone. Just like that. Quiet justice. Not loud. Not dramatic. But complete. Because in the end, she wasn't pushed out. She was revealed. People kept calling it revenge. I heard it everywhere. She destroyed him. She planned everything. Revenge. The word followed me, quietly. Constantly. But every time I heard it, something inside me resisted. Because it didn't feel like revenge. Not really. Revenge is loud. Messy. Driven by anger. What I did wasn't. I remember standing there that night under those lights, holding that microphone, feeling everything slow down. Not rage. Not chaos. Clarity. Sharp. Unshakable. And in that moment, I wasn't trying to hurt him. I wasn't trying to humiliate her. That part was just the consequence. The echo of something deeper. Because the truth, when you finally let it breathe, doesn't need force. It doesn't need exaggeration. It simply exists. And once it's seen, it changes everything. I used to think strength meant enduring. Staying quiet. Holding things together, no matter the cost. But I was wrong. Strength isn't silence. It's timing. It's knowing when to step forward and let the truth speak for you. I didn't destroy him, I said once, to myself. The words felt strange at first. Unfamiliar. Then clearer. Stronger. I revealed him. Silence. Soft. Settling. Because that was the difference. That was everything. It wasn't revenge, it was truth. And after everything, after the noise faded, after the headlines, the whispers, the judgment, there was a different kind of silence. Quieter. Deeper. And in that silence, I started thinking about something else. Not him. Not her. Someone else. Someone I've never met. Somewhere out there, there's a woman sitting in a room just like I was. Still. Confused. Holding on to pieces that don't fit anymore. She's overthinking. She's too emotional. Words like that, echoing in her head. Because I remember that feeling. Exactly. The doubt. The hesitation. That moment when you ask yourself, is it really that bad? And then the truth hits. Soft at first. Then sharp. Unavoidable. Maybe she just saw a message. Maybe she noticed a change. A silence that doesn't feel right. A look that no longer belongs to her. And right now, she's still deciding what to believe. What to ignore. What to confront. I know that place. I lived there. Longer than I should have. But here's the thing, the moment you start questioning your own reality, that's not weakness. That's awareness. And awareness is where everything begins. So if you're out there, watching this, listening to my story, thinking, this feels familiar, then maybe it's not just a story. And if that's true, if even a part of this feels like your story, then listen carefully. Because this is the part one wish someone had told me sooner. Love is not supposed to make you smaller. Not quieter. Not doubtful. Not invisible. But that's exactly what I did. I adjusted. I softened my voice. Ignored the signs. Explained away the discomfort. Piece by piece, I shrank. Not all at once. Slowly. So slowly. I didn't even notice. Until one day, I couldn't recognize myself anymore. That's the danger. It doesn't feel like losing yourself. It feels like keeping the peace. But peace built on silence is not peace. It's surrender. And love, real love, doesn't ask you to disappear. It doesn't demand that you doubt your own instincts. It doesn't punish you for seeing the truth. So if you're standing there, in that quiet moment, questioning yourself again, stop. Just for a second. Breathe. And ask the question I was too afraid to face. Why do I feel smaller in something that's supposed to make me whole? Silence. Because the answer, whatever it is, matters. More than you think. You don't shrink for love. Let that sit. Let it land. Because the moment you understand that, everything changes. And after all of that, after the truth, after the silence, after the storm finally passed, there was one last thing I had to face. Not them. Myself. For a long time, I saw myself through what happened. Through betrayal. Through humiliation. Through loss. Like those moments define me. But they don't. They never did. Because what happened to me is not who I am. Silence. Soft. Clear. I am not a victim. The words felt heavy at first. Unfamiliar. Then steady. Stronger. Because being hurt is not the same as being powerless. And surviving is not the same as being broken. I didn't lose myself. I found myself. And now, after everything you've seen, every choice, every silence, every moment that could have gone differently, I want to ask you something. Not as a viewer, but as someone who felt it. Because at some point, this stopped being just my story. It became a question. If you were Margaret, what would you do? Silence. Let it sit. Because there's no easy answer. Would you forgive? Pretend it never happened. Hold on to what's left. Try to rebuild something already broken? Or would you stand up? Risk everything, face the truth, and walk away from the life you thought was yours? Both choices cost something. Both choices change you. So which one would you choose? Drop your answer below. I want to hear it. Not just a word, but why. Because your voice matters more than you think. And if this story made you feel something, even just a moment of recognition, don't ignore it. Like this video. Share it with someone who needs to hear it. And subscribe, because there are more stories like this. Real. Raw. Uncomfortable, but necessary. Because sometimes the truth isn't just something we watch. It's something we finally decide to face.